Yes, hello friends, welcome to BISP Solutions and myself Ashwin, and BISP Solutions is a tech company provide technological solutions across the world. Now today's session is something related to flowchart, right? Because so far, look at this, so far I have taught you so many things, right? How to prepare a business requirement document and how to prepare the fit gap analysis document, right? O2C, P2P, what is this, all we have already learned. Now the thing is that define the requirement in a picture format like flowchart format, right? Let me show you something. Look at this. First of all, let's see the agenda today. Okay, now see here why visual process mapping is important. Now see, there are some people, see, everyone is not habitual of reading long text. Okay, clear? Everyone is not habitual of reading long text to 1 or 2 pages, right? So but instead, if you show the design the requirement in a picture format, that will be much better. Okay, so that is why today we are going to see this, how to show the data, how to show the process into a flow, NetSuite flow. That is I am talking about process flow. Okay, so look at this. Stakeholders understand visual better than text. Suppose in a company there are 100 employees. Now in that 100 employees, hardly 20% are well versed in technology. Remaining 70%, they are not that much well versed in technology. They are habitual of their routine task. Okay, so if you show the requirement, because whenever we deploy NetSuite completely end to end in a project in a company, so in that case what will happen, half of the employees, they are good in reading text, everything, but half of the employees, they are not interested in it, and you have to involve all of them. Okay, so understand as is and to be process. It helps in understanding as is and to be process. I will draw some flowcharts also in front of you. I have this draw.io application installed on my laptop. Okay, so today I will show you. Secondly, align NetSuite configuration with real workflow. The process flow explains much better than text. Okay, then simplify communication with developers and end user. Simplify communication with developers and end user. Now let me give you one example. Just a second. Yes, I am back. Now see here, this is draw.io. You can see here draw.io. Now suppose let's take an example. Suppose approval routing. Let's take an example of approval routing. Now listen for the next 5 minutes what I am saying. If the purchase order, look, let me use this, right? If the purchase order is greater than, like, is less than 10,000, no approval. If it is 10,000, PO 50,000. If it is between 10,000 to 50,000, then supervisor will approve. And if it is 50,000, PO is greater than 50,000, then VP, Vice President, will. Now these 3 lines, who will understand these 3 lines? Only the technical person will understand. Now same thing I will explain you with the help of flowchart, right? Now let's see carefully how I will do it. Okay, So here start, okay, start, okay, start. I will show you the symbol, why these symbols are working, right? I will show you the reason. Now after that, if the purchase order, creation of purchase order, okay, right? Now see here, I am creating a purchase order here, right? I am creating a purchase order. Now the process starts here, purchase order creation, okay. Now this purchase order creation, now there are so many things. So instead of doing this, Control A, make it here, okay, that will be fine, okay. Now see, if purchase order is, purchase order is less than 10,000, if purchase order is 10, then less than 10,000, then look at this, less than, no approval, right? If it is yes, right? And then if it is a no, if it's a no, approve, okay. Here you will write here like no. Now if I show the requirement something like this, right? So in that case, what will happen? The user will easily understand, right? This is what I am trying to show you, explain you. If you write this type of notation, write that, right? So nobody will understand, very few people will understand. But the power of this flowchart tools, right, flowchart creation tools, it is easy to explain your requirement, your whatever you want to say to the user much better. Now let me show you one more thing here. Let's do this, right? And then here, look at this again. If right, if PO is between 10,000 to 50,000, okay, right? If yes, now see here, if yes, here I will put yes. If it is yes, then who will approve it? Manager. Let's take manager, approve. And if it's a no, then that means it is not between 10 to 50,000, it is beyond 50,000, right? If it is beyond 50,000, then vice president, approve. And here I will put here like no. Now see here, these three lines can be explained in this way also, correct? This is what our today's agenda, how we can show the requirement in the form of what? Charts and graphs, okay? Just a second. Yes, that's fine, okay. So this is, now let's again come to our PPT format, okay? Now see why visual process mapping is important, okay? The stakeholder will understand visuals better than text, and BA uses tools like draw data, Visio is also given in MS Office 365. When you will take the subscription, most of the big companies, they take the subscription, in that you will find this Visio, okay? Now let's come here. What is BPMN? Business Process Model and Notation, industry standard graphical notation. Now here, industry standard graphical notation, there are some industry standard graphical notation used to show sequence of tasks. Look at this, then the decisions, then the roles, and then the systems. Now start and end event circle. Now if you remember here, look at this, I started with this start, and at wherever you want to make it as end, you can use same circle. Okay, so that is why it is written here, start and end with a circle. Now activities with rounded, let me show you this. I have, yeah, this is called, I have used exactly the same image. Okay, so this is the symbol. Now so far within our 13 sessions, you understand there are simple different processes. Now those processes are having some symbols are dedicated for those every activity. Suppose if you are preparing a flow chart, right, look at this, this is called start end, right? For starting and ending the process, an oval represents a start or end point, correct? Arrow, look at this arrow. A line is a connector, just one second. A line is a connector that shows relationships between the representative shapes. Okay, this line, look at this, I have created these lines, right? And the one facility is that, look at this here, let me show you rounded. If I make it as rounded, look at this, the difference between rounded. Okay, you can do any types of design here, right? Rounded, curved, look at this, curved. Okay, so it is up to you. If you want to show it in a professional way, you can make it as just sharp. Okay, line is a connector. Then you will see input and output. A parallelogram represents an input and output. Now here it is a decision making. Look at this, where is a process, just a second, it's a process. I am using the rectangle. Why it is a process? You see here, this, it's a input. For example, input means, suppose here it is input, look at this input, oval shape, diamond shape represents decision, represents input output, parallelogram. That means input of means, suppose form filled by the user. If you want to show in that image, for example, let me show you in this only. PO before this PO creation, let's make it here, PO filled by purchase order representative, right? You can do it like this, and then from here you will make it as a start. Where is that icon? Okay, let's take this. Okay, start. Fine. So is it clear to you? Okay, so now rectangle shows the process and decision maker. Just few minutes back I have shown this is a decision maker. Is, let me add here is, right, just a second, is. Okay, look at this, now it looks much better. Is PO is less than 10,000? Yes, no approval, no, then supervisor will approve. And if it is between 10,000 to 50,000, if it is between 10,000 to 50,000, then VP, then manager will approve. Yes, sorry, not manager, here I have written, yes, okay, 20,000, make it as 20,000. Okay, right, 20,000. So manager will approve. Otherwise, if it is beyond 50,000, then you can say at VP will approve. So this is the decision making. Now see here, start or end, decision, right? And then here is the input output and the process, correct? Now let's see this again, the same thing comes here. Okay, action or process. Okay, see here, a terminator symbol marks a starting or ending point of the system it usually contains, right? So start or end, first we will see all these images, and then we will continue with our main thing, right? Okay, so now again here you will see action. A box can represent a single step, add 2 cups of flours, that's a process. or an entire sub process make bread. Like there, here it is just an example. Document symbol, for example. Now see, let me show you in the same. Here is a document symbol. Where is it? Here it is, document, right? Now this document is used, suppose documentation to be done. With, that's it. In this way, that it represents that so many documents will be provided, either provided by the supervisor or to be provided to the supervisor. So this is how the symbols represents exactly what you are doing, right? So every symbol is having its own significance. Okay, a printed document or a report, right? Then you will see here multiple document symbol represents multiple documents in the process. Now see, reason is that in this NetSuite, what happens, not in NetSuite, in this IT field, there is a facility of documentation creation. You have to create a document, then you have to show the process into a flow chart way, right? Multiple document symbol represents multiple documents in the process, right? Then decision symbol, you have seen again the same decision symbol, yes or no. Input output symbol, okay. Then you will see here manual input symbol. Manual input symbol means, suppose when we are taking some input from the user, let me show you here whether it is available here. I think it is available here. Manual input, not here. Let's see here. I think it will be available here also. Advanced. Here, manual input. Look at this, manual input. There are so many symbols given here, right? So manual input means it is something like this. Look at this. Okay, take input, right, where some manual input is to be done, right? In that case, so that is why it is used as manual input. Okay, represents a step where a user is prompted to enter information manually, correct? Now whatever he enters, that will be used. Then preparation symbol. Preparation means represents a setup to another set in the process. That means, suppose I am talking about P2P process, purchase to procure, right? Again talk about the NetSuite only. So here purchase to procure, suppose purchase to procure, here supervisor will approve, okay, documents will be done. Now what I will do, I will add here one parallelogram. Okay, that's the icon that I was showing you here. Look at this parallelogram, right? Yeah, right. Yes, it is, I think it is just a second, let me check. Okay, no, this is the main, right? So here means it's a process going on, right? So the process going on, that's it, process. Okay, so it's a process. Now let's see this connector symbol. This is the connector symbol, indicates that the flow continues where a matching symbol containing the same letter has been placed. Okay, then you will see here or symbols. Now see, there are n number of symbols. It is not necessary that every symbol will be used, but I will show you. Or symbol indicates that the process flow continues in more than 2 branches, right? So more than 2 branches, if it is continuing many times, what happens, at the same one process is going on and at the same time that document is being processed. Let's take here or symbol, this or this. Suppose we have right now, we have used this, right? Either this or this. So you can use in the middle of somewhere, that this type of symbol it can be used. Okay, Summoning junction symbol indicates a point in the flowchart where multiple branches converge back into a single process. When multiple process comes with a single, for example, let's take an example like multiple process comes in, for example, packing is also going in the same way, and then the packaging and the packaging and the documentation both work at the same time, and they come to a point where the item is shipped and at the same time the document is to be submitted to the person. So that time it can be used, right? So it depends on the scenario that what type of icons are used. Merge symbol indicates a step where two or more sublists or sub processes become one, right? For example, let's take one more example. I remember in one of my project, right? Let me show you one more. If suppose sales order, right? Just a second, merge. Okay, here is one sales order of Las Vegas, sales order from Las Vegas, okay, with for Peter, right? It's a customer, and at the same time sales order for NY for Peter, and both should be sent into one place only, right? Let's suppose there are two sales order created only for one customer. Now in that case what will happen? So in that case we need to merge them. Okay, so let's see where is that merge icon. Where is that merge icon? Let's see. Here it is, merge, and merge to one here, and here you will see, look at this, merge to one. That means it happens in one of my project. What happens, there is a need one SO for, right? So there is a requirement, there are so many sales orders created for one customer. So in that case what happened, they said that merge one sales order into one. Now how they did it, that is another technical point, but on the flow chart you have to show it something like this. Clear? So that is the merge symbol. Collate symbol indicates a step that orders information into standard format. Yeah, orders information into a standard format. For example, there is a sales orders in which we are receiving so many documents. Now so many documents, actually these icons are used for manual process, not for complete functional technical purpose. For example, I am preparing a flowchart for a person. That is also possible. Suppose I am having 15 subordinates, and for every subordinate, if I write down one by one, you have to do number one this, you have to do number two this. Instead of that, I can use flowchart also. I can show them. Collate symbol means indicates a step that orders information into a standard format. That means one of my subordinate or one of my colleague, his task is to first take the information from the customer, and first take information, go down, pick the item and just hand over it. So these are the steps of information, right? So collate symbol, it shows that select the item and then hand over him. So here this type of icons are used. Sort symbol indicates a step that organize a list of items into sequence or sets based on some predetermined criteria. I will show you a good example in our upcoming sessions here, right? So right now we will just see this. Subroutine symbol. Now subroutine means indicates a sequence of action that performs a specific task embedded with a large process. This sequence of action could be described in more detail in a separate project. Now suppose, let's take an example. I will again show you one example. Let's come here first. Let's create one more. here, right? I am creating let's come new. Okay, I am creating one sales order created. Now next, what next? Here, come here, look at this, what it is written, process. Now item fulfillment and IF and WMS, pick, pack, ship, right? This is what, now this is completely a process, right? It is a complete process in itself. So that's why I have written this complete process. Now I can show this in a separate also, right? That is called subroutine symbol. Now see, manual loop symbol indicates a sequence of commands that will continue to repeat until stopped manually. These symbols are normally used very less, right? But I am explaining you all this so that tomorrow when you will be using this draw.io, at least you will be having some familiarity with it, right? And then the loop limit symbol indicates the point at which a loop should stop. So here, at what point the loop should stop, you will write inside it. And then if the process is delayed, for example, if I go here something like if a process is delayed, where is that symbol? Here it is, look at this, delay. If it's a delay, then stop the or close the sales order, then close the sales order. It can be used something like this also, right? So now you have to decide exactly where they can be used, right? So that's a delay symbol. Data storage or storage data symbol, stored data symbol. Data storage, for example, let's suppose I am a builder and I am selling the flats, right? Now what happened? First of all, I will take all the requirements, all the documents from the customer, his Aadhaar card, his PAN number, his bank account number, his blank check numbers, everything. So that process can be indicated like this. That process is indicated in this way. Database symbol, right? Now database symbol means, suppose if I am here, let's suppose here, let's take here, we will come here, right? Customers details, right? Now customer details, data symbol, data will be stored, data symbol, data store, customer details will be stored into the data. So what do you understand by this flow chart? Not only IT person, all the builders, anyone, civil engineers, builders, they can also use this type of flow charting techniques. Okay, it is not related to any specific domain, any domain person, right? And business analyst also a domain specific. Business analyst could be an IT specialist, he can from civil engineer, real estate domain also. Business analyst means business analyst, it's a domain specific. Internal storage symbol indicates that information was stored in memory during a program used in software design flowcharts, correct? Now let's come to our all slides first. Now see, thus mainly the connectors, the gateway you are using, that I am going to show you now, because we are talking about the we are talking about the end-to-end implementation of a NetSuite. Okay, now see here, start and event. Now you are clear. Circle, activity task, rounded rectangle. Now this time also you are clear with this. Rounded, here is rounded, what it is written here, rounded rectangle. Okay, then gateway decision, that is diamond. Here is gateway decision, let me show you. Decision, then seamless pool for role, for roles or departments. Seamless, swim lanes. Okay, swim lanes, pools for roles and departments, and then connectors, that is the arrow. Okay, Now benefits in NetSuite project. What are the benefits of using this? Makes process gap visible. See, now a person, if you show this, suppose if a person who has been working in so many long time, for the last 20 to 50 years, now the person can immediately detect where is the fault. He can also say that there is one more type of approval we need. There is one more type of, if along with inventory item, if any service item, in that case what will happen? So there are different types of, so the person who is not interested in reading the text, he can easily understand the flow chart, and then that flow chart can be modified based on the requirement, so he can easily understand exactly what we have written. Okay, now see here, makes the process gap visible. After that, align customization with real world needs. Yes, align the customization, you can make whatever changes you want, and then those customization can be done. Fine. Helps define workflow, approval, handover clearly. That's it. Now see, use cases of BPMN, business process. Here it is, business process model and notation, right? Business process model and notation in NetSuite projects. Now sales order approval flow. Look at this. Shows sales rep entry, approval, fulfillment, invoice. This is what I was showing you, right? This is what I was showing you. Right now I have written here purchase order, because normally approval process is used, approval cycle is used for purchase order. So purchase order filled by PO representative, approval, and then process further, right? This is what procure to pay, same thing, receipt vendor. Now this receipt vendor, you can show them in this way also, right? No approval, and then light control C. Here you will see the receipt vendor, right? Receipt vendor, item receipt, because we are talking about purchase order, right? And then return material authorization. So customer return, approval, returns, receipt, credit memo, everything you can show in the format of flow chart. Then I will show you all these things one by one. Lead to cash, first complete this, then we will go with the practical. Lead to cash, cash flow, start from leads, end with cash received, and month end close, journal entries, approvals, and financial reports. Correct? Now tools to create business process model and notation. Now process flows. Now see here, common tools. These are the common tools, in which draw.io is one of them, right? So these you can use as many tools which are available on the internet. It is not necessary that you should use draw.io only, because what happens, Visio is also same as draw.io. Because what happens when the company starts working, so company takes the subscription, and then company instruct to all the person that use that particular tool. Okay, now see here how to create a NetSuite process flow in this format, step by step. First of all, identify the process. Now the question is that where you should use this flow charting process, right, or the design flow document. Now first of all, identify the process, O2C, P2P, R2, or what type of process you are talking about. Then list participants, sales rep, finance, warehouse. You have to first identify the process, then list out the participants who will be working on this. Third is start with trigger events. Customer places order, right? So start with trigger events. Here I have shown you this is called start with trigger events. PO filled by PO representative, right? Then add each activity step. Create sales order, approve order, fulfill order. Add each activity step. Create order, right? Then item receipt, right? Then add decision gateway in order. If order is greater than 50,000, approval needed. This is what I explained to you in the beginning. Look at this. If, right? This is if condition. Yes, no, that depends on you. Okay. Then draw arrow to connect steps. Yeah, connect, we have used these arrows, right? Connectors. After that, use swim lanes to assign steps to correct role department. Yes, swim lanes means it is nothing like just it's a flow, right? Then mark end event, payment received. Mark end event, for example, remove this, mark end event, payment received, that's it. This is called end event, right? You have used here, and then you can, now in the middle of that there are so many processes. I'm just explaining you the process, that exactly this is the end of the process, right? Like control C, control V, let me make it here, process end, that's it. So you can do it like this way, correct? Now BA responsibility in BPM and documentation, business process documentation model, right? Now gather process steps for stakeholders. Okay, now business analyst will not prepare the flow chart, right? The flow chart is prepared by the functional consultant, either by functional and or by the technical, because 100% I'm sure technical person know about the flow chart, because flow chart is taught in technical field only. So 100% confirm that technical person already know, but the functional person who is working as a functional consultant, he should know the flow chart technique. Okay, and the business analyst, about that, business analyst will just gather the process steps from stakeholders. Now clarify handoffs and decision point. Now clarify the decision points. Look at this, I have clarified these decision points, where these decisions to be made. Okay, then translate verbal process into diagram. That is what I am doing. Translate, where it is, look at this, translate verbal process into diagram. This is what we have done. Translate verbal process into diagram. They have given me this, I have converted into diagram. That's it. Review with tech team and before designing workflow and customization. Review with tech team, that is what I already told you, that technical person know all these things, functional person should know, and BA, he is not concerned with that much flowchart, but at least he has to sit in front of the client and then explain. So that is why the business analyst has to give the details to the technical person. Okay, these are the persons. Now how it will work, let me explain you in a real scenario. Suppose I am a business analyst, okay, two technical persons are there, those who are going to work on this project. Now first of all, I will gather the process and steps from the stakeholder. Okay, that is fine, I will create this type of document, something like this, right? Clarify hands off and decision points. Okay, these are the decision points. I will communicate with the tech team and I will say, okay, these are the decision points. Translate verbal process into diagram. Yes, first of all, I will convert this into a simple handmade process flow diagram. Then review with tech teams before designing. I will show that handmade process flow diagram to the tech team, and then that tech team will design the flowchart. Store final version in BRD or Confluence or reference, for reference. Store final version means, let's suppose this is our final version, right? This is finalized. Now what I will do, I will just take all and then export as JPEG. That's it, and then I will save it. So that is what it is written here, store final version in BRD. Okay, so this is all about the documentation, and inside that flow charting. In our technical language, we often call it as like flow charting or flow chart process, anything. Now here, gather process and steps from stakeholders, clarify hands off and decision points, everything, right? Now let's see final takeaways. Business process model and notation is a language of business process clarity. That is fine. As a BA, you must master visual storytelling. Master visual storytelling means, suppose if I go to the client with this image, right? Let's take a very short example. I go to the client with this example. I will say, okay sir, whatever your purchase order is, we are offering you the process of approval that you are not having in your current legacy system. I will show them like this, so easily he can understand. That means process flow diagram reduces your time to explain, because the other person can easily understand all these things. Okay. Now secondly, as a BA, you must master visual storytelling. Good diagrams reduces confusion in configuration testing and training. That is what I told you. Good diagrams reduces confusions. See, suppose if a person is not good in English communication, because as you know, English communication is required everywhere in a company or corporate or any type of industry, any domain. Now suppose if a person is not good in but that person is working in that client company for the last 15 years, 20 years, so it is our duty, it is our responsibility to show the complete process into a flow chart way. Okay, that is what we want to do. Then here, look at this. Good diagrams reduces confusion, and then always walk through the process with stakeholders using your diagram. Always walk through the process with stakeholders using your diagrams. Fine. Now the summary, let's come to the summary point. Okay, let's come to the summary point. Now today what we have seen: business process model notation, standard way of represent business processes. That's it. Use tools like Lucid Chart, Visio, Draw.io, any tool. It is not mandatory to use any specific tool, nothing, but use tools for this. In early days, when there were no such type of tools, the developers used MS Word document to design such type of flow chart. And now today there is so much facility here, but when in 15 years back, when these types of tools are not available, at that time the developer used to draw it in the MS Word, which was a time consuming task, right? So NetSuite flows like O2C, P2P, R2R are ideal to diagram. See, in a complete project, not all the process can be shown in diagram. Okay, for example, pricing module. Now how will you show it into the diagram? Nothing. The diagram is used only where the process contains so many things, right? Similarly, helps developers, consultant and users understand the flow. See, if you design a flow chart, the other person will understand it easily. The other developer also, the consultants also, and the user, most especially user. Okay, so keep this thing in mind. After that, BA owns the responsibility of process visualization. Now we come to the point, business analyst. Here we are talking about business analyst, and your analysis, your focus should be on process visualization. That's it. For example, if I am showing you return material authorization, in this return material authorization, what thing will be done? First of all, let me show you the steps. Okay, now let's create a diagram of return material authorization. I am showing you return material authorization. Okay, return material authorization. First case start, we will go with start. I think we should remove this first, no need. Okay, start. Okay, then complaint received, right? Complaint received for damaged item. Complaint received for damaged item, right? Then create what? Create case. Okay, now after that what? Create case, then item received. Okay, item received. Okay, okay, now what I will do here? Item received. Then what we will do? Really, is the damage fixable or non-fixable? Is damage or non-fixable, right? Okay, let's do one thing, it creates confusion. Is the damage fixable, right? Because yes no will prove everything. Okay, now restock, go to if it's a fixable, then restock in staging area, right? And if it is not, destroy or discard it. It is a no, right? It's a no and it's a yes, right? Now restock it. After that, send a new item to the customer. Send new fresh item to the customer, right? Here I will go something like this. Okay, it is not necessary that you can go downside, the arrow can up, do it like this also. After that you can see here, create a credit memo. Creation, right? Credit memo creation. After that what happened? After that if it is if you are sending them, okay, and if you are not sending them, then refund it, right? Refund it. If you are not sending, suppose staging area, new item, send, create a credit memo, right? At this time credit memo is not required, right? For example, if I remove this, send new fresh item. Just a second, something we need to do here. Is new item available? Is spare item, right? Now what we will do here, look at this. Okay, now is spare item available? Yes, yes or no. If it's a no, then what will happen? Let's see. Credit, create a credit memo. Okay, now create a credit memo, and in this way refund it. That's it. So this was a complete process. I have shown you the complete process of return material authorization. Now this is just a sample, but you can design it as per the requirement. Okay, so guys, today we have seen process flow, documenting NetSuite flows. So how the flows are going on. Okay, so this is what we want to show. Just give me a second. Now this is a complete flow. Now you can design as many flowcharts as you want, right? So guys, the main target is of a business analyst is final summary, that he should use the tools like draw.io, NetSuite flows. First of all, you have to identify on which process you have to prepare a flowchart, right? And then once you prepare it, then you can just attach it into the BRD or any type of number of document, any type of document you can attach, correct? And then it can be easily understandable. Just give me a second. Yes, okay, so now today we have seen the flowchart process. I recommend you to watch this video again, and those who are new to this channel, they can subscribe my channel so that you will get the notification, right? And in our next session, I will show you business requirement document, how to prepare a business requirement document. Okay, but first you start understanding what I am explaining you in our daily sessions, right? In our daily sessions, today I have shown you the flowchart. Tomorrow we will see the documentation of BRD. Okay, so today we are closing here, and tomorrow we will see the BRD document. Okay, so thank you guys, thanks for attending the webinar. Thank you.